Hey, who do we have this time?
May I please report your honor? Before is Mr. Anthony Fitzgerald Catino. He was charged with attempted murder and domestic violence in the second degree. Your honor, this is defense's motion to set bond. He is represented by Ms. Kimberly Hodge of the Williamsburg County Public Defender's Office, and he has been detained at the Williamsburg County Detention Center since November 19th.
Who's he trying to kill?
Mr. Johnny Moore, who is in the audience.
Johnny Moore?
That's right, your honor.
Okay. And, Ms. Hodge. Ms. Moore, you come on.
He previously stated he did not want to
Oh,
verbalize.
you have to say something. You know Mr. Moore a long time. You have to say something. Ms. Hodge.
May it please the court, our office represents Mr. Catino. He's 56 years old, lifelong resident of King Street. He was employed gainfully with a welding company, and I had messages from his boss that's very concerning about wanting him to return to work, which goes to speak of such of a good worker that he really is. He's indicated to me that he doesn't have that much. He told me that he had a CDV about 2 or 3 years ago, and that's the only thing that's on his record. This incident happened on November the 18th. He was dating one of the alleged victims in this case, and they had some words amongst
You
each
was dating one of the alleged victims.
There's another victim.
A female?
A female. So he was dating one of the alleged victims. In this case, they've been dating about 8 years. He went over to her house that particular day and spoke to her, and he just felt that something wasn't right with Mr. Moore being there while she was there. And so he left and then came back because he had that gut feeling that something wasn't right. And so then he asked Mr. Moore whether he was messing around with his girlfriend, and Mr. Moore told him yes, and then that's when the altercation ensued between the two of them.
Do we have a girlfriend here? The girl tried to
You know, sir, your honor, we tried contacting her, but she wasn't able to attend this morning.
Okay.
Mr. Catino has family ties all to the King Street area. I wouldn't consider him to be a flight risk or a danger to society. This was a one-time instance where he just wasn't thinking when it happened, and he sincerely apologizes to Mr. Boyd. And when I spoke briefly with Mr. Catino this morning, one of the first things he asked me was, how is Mr. Boyd doing? So it just goes to show towards his character and how concerned he is.
Did he shoot him or was he accused of shooting him?
No.
Shooting at him?
No, not shooting at him, he cut him.
Cut him, okay. All right, let's hear what the state says about it.
And your honor, on November 18th, units with the King Street Police Department was called out to 630 East Main Street, which is the apartments located right next to the IGA, in reference to a dispute that was going on. Ms. Tamara Jackson, the DV victim, is the one who called 911, stated there was a fight involving Mr. Johnny Moore and Mr. Anthony Catino. According to Ms. Jackson, she stated that her, Mr. Moore, and a third party, Ms. Sandra Merritt, were all sitting together in their apartment. Mr. Catino showed up. That is when she is actually the one that told Mr. Catino that she is now dating Mr. Johnny Moore.
She's no longer dating him, she's got a new boyfriend.
Right. That's when the fight broke out. During the physical altercation, Mr. Moore was getting the best of Mr. Catino. That is when he left out, got the box cutter, came back and decided to cut Mr. Moore on the side of his head and his neck. The fight continued over to the IGA parking lot. There was a trail of blood leading from the apartment to the IGA parking lot, and Ms. Sandra Merritt was actually the person holding Mr. Moore until KPD was able to come around on the scene. And Mr. Moore has shown me that he still has the stitches and scars.
I see Ms. Moore, where you cut you? Right underneath your ear? Okay. Anything else you want to say about it? All right, Mr. Catino, what do you want to say about bond? What do you want to say?
I would like to have bond, yes sir, I would.
I
And I'm
can't
sorry to
think
hear
of
what
what you're
just
saying.
happened.
Put your mask down a little bit.
So, all right, question was again?
What do you want to tell me?
Well, one, yeah, I hated that happened. And yes, I apologize to the young man, because it should have never happened. And yes, I would like to have bond so I can get back to work.
What kind of rap sheet you have?
Just what she said. That's
What
about
did you
it.
say?
CDB, for about three years ago, and this is just what he's told me. I've not seen a rap sheet from the solicitor's office.
What do you have on it?
In 1988, he has a failure to stop for a blue light. 1992, he has a DUI. 1993, another DUI. He, in 2017, has domestic violence second degree. And just 2019, a violation of probation.
How much time did you get from, you violated probation?
It was a year, I did 6 months. Because I did some time right here. I was incarcerated here, and then that friend went to Columbia.
Who was the judge that sentenced you at that time?
I can't remember, sir.
It wasn't me.
No, sir. I don't remember being there.
So what kind of bond you trying to get?
As little as possible.
Where do you work?
Andrews Fabricators,
How long you been there?
over a year. No days missed.
Well, what's the story with the new girlfriend or the old girlfriend?
No, I just want to know because nobody ever told me anything about us being broke up. I just had this bad feeling that something was going on when I'm not around. So I just wanted to get answer, the truth, which everybody would. Is anything going on? Prior that same week when this incident, I asked, I said, is anything going on behind my back when I'm not around? No. I don't want Johnny
You
more
thought
than his
she was
friends.
you thought she was still your girlfriend.
Nobody told me we weren't. She did. As far as I know, I was laying on, we still dating.
But you went there that day and she said
So I had a bad gut feeling. I was
she
on
thought
jail.
she had a new man when you went there that day.
Sir,
When you got, the day that you cut the Moy, is the day she told you she had another boyfriend?
I was there early prior, and I left because I had to go to work the next morning. So on my way home, I had that gut feeling, so I had to turn around and said, let me go ask. Is it yes or is it no? Are you doing this behind my back? So he just said yes.
Do
And
you know I'm Moy?
yeah, I know for a long time. That's why I said this should have never have happened.
Is her place up at the projects there?
Sir,
It's her apartment.
yes, sir.
What's her name?
Tamara Jackson. We weren't living together, but she said something about the policy about
You
the
can't live in, those
project.
are subsidized houses. You can't live in
I
there.
know, but we were, but the landlord came up
They
with,
didn't know about
we
it.
got, that you're getting down, cracking down on people staying together in those places, government homes.
Right.
So that's why I just went on back where I normally was living at, and just came, back and
You
forth.
just did a lot of visiting.
Yes.
What kind of bond do you want? What kind of bond do you want?
As low as they can get it.
Well, that's,
PR, if I could. And I ain't going
who's gonna
nowhere.
get you out of jail?
Sir,
Who's gonna get you out of jail?
well, right now, at the moment, I don't know. I'd have to know whether I'm getting out to be able to try to contact someone.
Well, what kind of bond you have now?
Sir?
What kind of bond do you have now? I mean, no bond.
No bond.
Bond denied. That's what they told you.
Sir?
The magistrate didn't give you a bond.
No, he didn't give me a bond.
I think I'll give you a $10,000 surety bond. You know, you can pay a surety to a bondsman, or you can pay 3% to get out. How much is 3% of 10,000?
300.
300?
Oh, yeah, 300.
300? Yeah. You can pay a $10,000 bond or post 3%.
So if I can get in contact with someone and get that
I
bond,
can set the bond. I don't handle the arrangements for you to get
I
out.
was just asking.
Or you can ask your lawyer, she'll give you the details.
And you said no
Don't
contact.
get in no more trouble now. How you gonna have to stay away from there?
Of course.
If She has a new boyfriend, that's just the way it is.
No, I wish that someone would let give me some heads up.
Well, how
And
long-
I wouldn't even be going over there.
How long was she going with you?
We almost 8. Almost
8 years.
8 years?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
If
Well,
you
what
wanted-
happened?
if you wanted to go away, venture off, all you had to do was say, look, our relationship has run its course. And that kept it moving.
Yeah, you're a handsome fella, you'd be able to get another woman.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you'll be all right. Okay, good luck to you. So I'm gonna have to make a condition of the bond, you can't go back over there.
Right, that's cool.
All right, that's on the bond, you can't go over there. All right, yes,
May I
ma'am.
please the court, Your Honor?
Yes.
Before is Mr. Conrad St. George Smith. He is here on case number 2020-GS450076. He was charged with manufacturing marijuana. Your Honor, this is a third or subsequent offense. The state has worked out a negotiated plea with Mr. Barr so that he is able to pay a fine for these charges.
Fine, how much?
At your discretion, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Mark?
Judge, this gentleman he lives here in Williamsburg County, he's a mechanic. He was growing reefer at the back of his house. And from what I understand, I'm not aware of anybody saying that he's selling reefer at any time, or I'm gonna let him explain to you, Judge, what he did. And some of his friends, he brought them over to the house and they went and called the police. In order to get themselves out of a bad situation. But in any event, Judge, from what I understand, he was drawing some plans and they got caught with it.
All right, Mr. Smith, you want to waive your right to a jury trial and plead guilty?
Take your mask down.
Are you guilty?
Sir?
Are you guilty of manufacturing marijuana?
Yes, sir.
Now, this offense carries a minimum sentence of 5 years, a maximum sentence of 20 years, or a fine of not more than $20,000. Did you know that?
No, sir.
That's what the fine and sentence is. Of course, the solicitor wants me to suspend the fine, suspend the sentence upon your paying a fine. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
And if I accept the negotiated sentence, I will give you a fine based on a suspended sentence. Is that what you want?
Yes, sir.
Are you guilty of this crime?
Yes, sir.
Are you on probation or parole at this time?
No, sir.
And I see you have an address listed in Orlando, Florida.
That was about 10 years ago. I used to live here and I moved down here.
You moved where?
Moved to Melwood King Street,
What's your address in Williamsburg County?
138 Commander.
So you need to have a local address.
You said Nelly Commander?
Yes, ma'am. 138 Commander Road.
Something more.
Say that one more time.
112 Nelly Commander Road.
That's in Millwood, Judge.
What kind of accent is that you have?
Jamaican, sir.
Jamaican?
Yes, sir.
And how long were you here in Williamsburg County?
About 8 years.
About 8 years. All right, yes, ma'am.
In your honor, on July 19, 2019, on that day, Agent Seth Scott with the Williamsburg County Sheriff Office was working with SLED. They were conducting marijuana eradication. They had flew over Nexon Road, which is located in Williamsburg County. They saw that there was a house with multiple marijuana plants being grown. Aircraft hovered over the area. They were able to locate the house. Once agents were able to arrive at the house, that's when they made contact with the suspect, and he stated that his name was Mr. Conrad George St. Smith. The alleged marijuana was sent off for testing to Sumter County. It came back as 340.4 grams of marijuana.
No. Do you believe that's true, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Barr.
Judge, I have nothing further, of course, I'm gonna have to acknowledge that as far as that At sentencing range, that could probably cut me off. It's not my best day on that, but be that as it may, I wouldn't.
Yeah, by being the third offense is a minimum sentence.
That's correct.
Did not say cannot be suspended, I don't think so.
I believe it can be suspended.
Can be suspended.
Yeah, good judge, we thought that maybe there was something in the range of $500 to $600 or something. Of
It
course.
says the fine of not more than 20,000. Doesn't indicate a minimum fine. Anything else?
Nothing further from the state.
Okay, sir, the sentence is 5 years or pay a fine of $500. Did you serve any time in jail?
No, sir, about 3 hours.
Okay.
They give me a killer one.
And how do you plan to pay this fine? A $500 fine after adding costs and assessments will total $1,200–1,300 or more?
Somewhere in that ballpark figure.
How do you plan to pay the fine? How do you want to pay the
I can
fine?
pay it monthly, sir. I can pay it monthly.
How much you want to pay per month?
I would say about $50 a month, sir, if that.
$50.
Well, I'm just saying that, sir.
And what source of income do you have?
I work with Mr. Willie James Barra to become mechanic, valuer, painting.
What kind of income do you get?
Well, I get paid by the job I do, depends on the job I do.
Yeah, can we arrange to have it paid within 90 days?
All right. Now, if I put on the sentencing sheet, fine must be paid in full within 90 days and you don't pay it, then the police are gonna come get you and you go to prison for 5 years. You understand?
Mr. Willie James Barra will help me to pay, sir. I assure that.
And what is the total amount that he'll have to come up with?
$1,197.37.
Got that?
Sir?
Listen, tell them again.
$1,197.37. I'll write it down for you.
Okay, I don't have it right now, today.
This failure to pay results in automatic incarceration for 5 years. And you have 90 days to pay. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is Christian News TY. I'm Tony Conyers. If there are any newsworthy events in Williamsburg County, we will get them to you as soon as possible. If not, you can follow us on Christian News TY Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on our website.
My name is Martin Cunningham. Christian News TY would like to thank you for watching. Please share.